Welcome back, friends. Happy to have you back here for another lesson. Remember, if you are new in this channel, please, if this is your first time watching our videos, please subscribe, like, comment, and share the video. Okay, so today our lesson is lesson number 3 under databases using WampServer. Okay, so lesson 3 we are going to do, we'll create tables, we'll define their data types. Okay, so the first thing under this lesson, we are going to create tables using phpMyAdmin graphical interface. Secondly, we are going to, under these tables we have created, we are going to define the attributes. We are going to choose the different data types of our attributes. We are also going to add constraints to each attribute. Okay, and then lastly, we are going to see how to create tables using SQL commands. Okay, we're going to create tables using SQL command. So with that, let's go straight to phpMyAdmin. As you can see here, we succeeded in creating our database last time, HIHS. So inside this database now, we are going to create our tables. So to do that, you click on the database. Voila. So once you do that, we can see clearly here that it states here that create a new table. So we are going to give a table name. And now, for us to do that, it is also good that we know the tables we are going to create in this database. So these are the tables we are going to create. These are the tables. We have our table student, which has primary key SID and the other attributes as you can see here. We have our table offers. Yes, that is a junction table. The reason why the primary keys of the two other tables are found as foreign keys in the offers table. Then we have our last table subject, which is having subject code as primary key and subject name and number of hours as attributes. So let's go straight to the point where we'll create these 3 tables. I will try as much as possible to minimize time. Okay, so visually you can create a table by giving a name to it. So the first table we are going to create is the student table. Okay, so the name of the table is student. Now, how many attributes do we have for the student table? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we'll do is we'll change this to 5. Okay, since we have 5 attributes, and we'll click on create. Voila. So this here we are going to enter the different attributes, the 5 attributes we have for our table student. Okay, and then this is where we'll select the data types. Here we'll select the data types, and then we'll put the constraints for foreign keys under index here. You can see primary and all of that. So let's go. So the first attribute is the SID. SID. What could be the data type? We'll choose integer. Okay, we'll choose integer, and then we'll move to index. We want SID to be our primary key. So select under index, we'll select primary, and then we'll click on go. Automatically SID has been selected as primary key in this table. Then we'll put the second attribute, which is sname. Sname, it's since we're dealing with names has to do with characters, so we'll choose varchar instead of integer. Varchar, and then we'll give the size, the maximum number of characters we can give to our attribute sname. Let's say 20. Okay, move to the next. Of course, it's going to be null, not null. see null here. If you tick, it means that it's possible to do a record with a field, the field containing the name being empty, which is not what we want. So we'll untick this, and then we'll go to the next attribute. What was the next attribute again? We have date of birth. So we'll enter date of birth, which is DOB in this case, abbreviated DOB. DOB is date. The data type is date. Okay. We'll move to the next. I think it should be gender. Okay, gender, and then lastly telephone. So we'll choose gender. Gender, the data type. We can use char. We can use varchar. So maybe we'll take char. Where is char? Anyway, I'm not seeing strings. Okay, char. So the size we say just 1. We want it to be M and F. Okay, M and F. Okay, so 1. So lastly, telephone. The last attribute will be telephone. In this case, our telephone number will be integer, but we can as well decide to use varchar in case you want to add the country code. That is, for instance, in Cameroon, it is +237. So if you want to add the country code, then you have to choose the data type varchar because of the plus. Okay. Other than that, you can use integer. So we'll use integer. And then we'll choose our engine, our storage engine. We'll use InnoDB. Okay. Once you've done that, you can view the SQL command to create this table by just clicking on this button, View SQL, and voila. So this is the SQL. I'm going to copy it. This is the SQL command to create this table. I'll copy it so that I don't waste time creating the others. I'll copy it. And once you've done that, you just click on Save, and voila, the table has been created. We can all see here that SID has a key, a shiny or golden key beside it. That is to indicate that it is a primary key. Okay, so this is it for this table. We will create the second table now using SQL. Okay. Yes, we'll create the second table using SQL. So for SQL, creating the second table now using SQL, we'll click here, SQL. So the SQL command is create, okay, table, create table, then we give the name of the table. Now, remember we had 3 tables. We have 3 tables we are supposed to create. Now, we will not dive directly into this other table, offers. Why? Because offers is a junction table. It was created from the many-to-many relationship between student and subject. So because of that, we will create it after creating subject first. Okay, so we'll create the subject table with the subject code, subject name, and number of hours as attribute. So to do that using SQL, we'll say create table. The name of the table is subject. Yeah. Let me. Okay. So let's see. Subject. And then we'll go down. Open a parenthesis. The first attribute is subject code. Subcode. What is the data type? We'll choose the data type. Let's say subject code is an integer. So since we want to enter, for instance, advanced level computer science in Cameroon, the subject code is 0795. So it's an integer. Then the next thing, we want to make it primary key. So we'll just type primary key, not null. Okay, since we don't want, in fact, the primary key can never be null. Okay, so that's why we put not null. Okay, secondly, we have second attribute is subject name. So a subject name, what could be the best data type for subject name? See, the name of a subject is made up of characters, so we are going to use varchar or char. So we'll try enter varchar, and then we'll put the size in bracket. In bracket, we'll put 20, believing that a subject name cannot be more than 20. And of course, not null, comma. Then the last attribute, number of hours. Okay. What is the data type? Integer. Okay. Also say not null. Okay. Now, since we are, you can clearly see here that each time we enter a data type, each time we declare an attribute and assign the data type, we always end with a comma for each attribute. But the last attribute is not going to receive, it's not going to have a comma. So we'll just go straight down, close the bracket, and we end with a semicolon. With this now, we can go down and click on go. Okay. Once you do that, voila, our table has been created. You can see here, this is our table subject, with its attributes. Okay. You can see the columns. We have subject code as a primary key. We have subject name. We have number of hours. Okay. And then same thing with our student table we are there. You can see all the attributes here. So that is it for that table. So we'll create the last table now using the visual form. Okay, we'll create the last table. Our last table is a junction table. So I'm not going to use SQL to do that. Okay, I'm not going to use SQL command. Okay, so I will just give the name of the table, the last table, which is in this case is offers. Now offers has how many attributes? Offers has 1, 2, 3 attributes. Offers has 3 attributes. So I will select, put 3, create, then I'll give the attribute. The first attribute is SID, that is an integer. The second attribute is a subject code, subcode, which is also an integer. Okay, and lastly we have date offered. I think date offered. I hope I'm right. Yeah, date offered. So date offered. So the data type, this is integer, and it is also a primary key. Oh, I think it will be better. It will be better if I create this using SQL. Yeah, I'll do that using SQL command because of the foreign keys. I also want you guys to learn how to do that, how to write an SQL command to include a foreign key. Okay, so we have create table. What's the name of the table again? Offers. And then we move down, open our parentheses. What's the first attribute? SID. Yeah. SID. It's an integer. Okay. Not null. Okay. Now here I am not going to assign a primary key directly, because in this table we have 2 primary keys which are also acting as foreign keys. Reason why I did not declare primary key directly as we did for the other tables. So because we have 2 primary keys in this table. And then the second is subject code, which is an integer too, and not null. Okay, this subject code is also going to be our primary key. So we have 2 primary keys. student ID and subject code. So lastly, now we are going to declare our primary keys. So to do that, you simply type primary keys, then primary key in brackets. Now you put the two attributes which we have SID, comma, then the second attribute we want to assign as primary key is subject code. We close the bracket, comma, and we go to a new line. Now we have declared our primary keys, but we also need to declare these two attributes we are seeing here as foreign keys. Okay. Hey, I forgot. There is supposed to be a third attribute. Oh, you see, the third attribute here is number of hours. I did not declare it. Let me just declare it after subject. Okay, let me declare it here. So number of hours. Number of hours is integer. Okay, not null. So now let's go back now to declaring or assigning or attributing foreign keys. What are our foreign keys? So to do that, you type foreign key, the first foreign key. What's the first foreign key? It's going to be SID. SID, as a student. So we have SID, then we have references. We have to give our reference. Where is it coming from? What is the name of the table? The table where SID is a primary key. So it's coming from the table student. It's coming from the student table. And now, what is the attribute that is the primary key in the student table? The same ID, the same SID. Okay, once you've done that, you put comma, then we go to the next. The second, I'm not going to waste time. I will copy this because as a programmer, you must learn how to copy and paste in order not to repeat the same thing. So now I'm going to create the second foreign key. Our second foreign key is subject code. So I'll just modify or put subject code. I'll copy this because I'll need it. Now subject code is the reference table is the subject table. Okay, and the primary key, of course, is still subject code. Now, since it is the last attribute, like I said, I will not put comma, just like I said for the last table we created, which was subject table. So I'll just go to a new line, close with a bracket, and add the semicolon. With this now, we have created our table. We have written the SQL command. So what we'll do next is just to run the SQL command by clicking go. Voila. So you can see the SQL command here. You can copy it and then transfer in your booklet. So once we've done that, you see our table now has been created. This is our offers table here with the attributes. Number of hours, SID as primary key and foreign key too, and then subject code as primary key and foreign key. So if you want to see it clearly, you can see here structure. So they are here. You can see everything here. So our tables have been created. So with this, I think we have come to the end of our class. In our next class, we'll see how to insert or populate data or do records in our tables. So thank you very much. See you in our next class. But before then, please, if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe, comment, share, and like our videos. Thank you very much, and see you in our next class.